Hello friends and welcome to all of you for this video session number 54. We are into the fifth module and that is GST and technology. Let me welcome all of you again to this video session where we are going to discuss the guidelines and the architecture to integrate with the GST system. So this module is really gives some lot of information to all of us to have a theoretical as well as a most informative knowledge when it comes to the filing of returns, especially for the GST payers is concerned. The learning objectives of this chapter, of course, we are going to understand the concepts and the various guidelines that are set out by the GST system and its architecture through the integrated system. So let me straight away take you to this particular concept of guidelines and architecture to integrate with the GST system. The architecture, as we all know that it means it is a composition or a framework through which our integrated GST system works at all the levels. It works at the state level and of course at the national level, and it works at the different parts of India. So students, let me take you to this first slides. Through this, we will be able to understand a bit of it. These guidelines and the architecture of connectivity are subject to change over time. At discretion of GST network, the GSP and its ISP will need to make unnecessary technology changes as and when that happens at its own cost. GSTN undertakes to commit at least possible changes with the due consent to same. However, certain situations may demand the changes and make them so unavoidable. So the guidelines and the structure of connectivity is subject to a change. It means the GST network, what we have, it may be amendable. The technology through which we carry out all this kind of transactions may be changed because of certain demands, requirements at its own cost. And this has to be undertaken through GST network. All these kind of changes will be done by the authorities just for the easy administration of all the tax system across India. And this is the primary vision, or we can say the motto of the GST architecture. Now let me go for the next slide. GSPs shall procure MPL's activity from any of the designated internet service systems, providing integration connectivity to GST system. The provisioned MPLS links shall be used to connect with GST1 Delhi and GST2 at Bangalore. So we in India, we have two headquarters for GST network, Delhi being the DC1 and of course DC2 at Bangalore, through which we can make any connectivity regarding this GST system. So whatever we want to make the changes and integrated connectivity, so through the system we can make the changes. And the next one, GSPs and ISPs, so need to provide the CPE counter in to terminate the MPLS activity at GST's data center locations. The cost of these devices has to be borne by GSP and ISPs. These guidelines and the structure of connectivity are subject to change over time. It means the GST, GSPs, goods and service tax suvidha providers and internet service providers, they have to report to the CPE counter to terminate the MPLS activities at GSP's data center locations. See, whatever the information they want to make, submit or changes, they should report to the CPE counter. Through that, they can have changes in that particular system. And further going to this, GSP and this ISP will make the necessary technology changes as and when that happens at its own cost. GST network undertakes to commit at least possible changes with the due consent to same. However, certain situations may demand the changes and may make them unavoidable, and it is a MSP will provide any links or incur any cost providing these services to GSPs. These routers should provide the functionalities which are as follows. ನೋಡಿ, ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ಒಂದು ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ GST ಮತ್ತು ISP ಅದು ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದು. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಪೇಯರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಈಸಿ ಆಗಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಏನೇನು ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Next, GSPs and ISPs must opt for enterprise class security for environmental being used to connect integrated with GSTN and ensure that they do not inject viruses, malwares, intrusions, CNC, bots, threats, etc. into the system. Nodi, GST, so of course, GST Suvidha provider is a software, internet services, or IT services, information technology. ಇದು ಕೂಡ ನಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟಿ ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟಿ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ವೈರಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಮಾಲ್ವೇರು ಅಥವಾ ಹ್ಯಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಇಂದ ದೂರ ಇರೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅದೊಂದು ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. GSPs must ensure that traffic originating from the RAN and destined to GSS system is free from viruses, malwares, intrusions, bots, CC threats. GST network will reserve the right to block, suspend the services of GSP if malicious traffic is found, which may be impacting the system. See, we are going to have an anti-virus, anti-malware, anti-intrusions bots and things kind of the software that really protects our entire system of GST network, through which it doesn't disturb the activities and the payment of taxes made through the portal. So in simple, I would say that it is a protection which is implemented by the GSPs and ISPs just to protect the GST network from any other kind of disturbances. Further going to this, let me go through with the other important thing. So GSPs must adhere to all government of India IT security standards and regulatory requirement. GSPs must comply with IT Act 2000, including 43A and amendments therefore. ನೋಡಿ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟು ಗೂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಸುವಿಧಾ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡರ್ಸ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾರತ ಸರ್ಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು IT ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟರಿ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಹೊಂದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. IT Act 2000 ಏನ್ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಅವರು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ದ ISPs will submit the list of GSPs that they connect to the GSS system. The ISPs should be prepared to sign necessary agreement for compliance needs as applicable at various data centers from India providers. See, ISPs ಎಲ್ಲ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ GSP ಪ್ರೊವೈಡರ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು GSS ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಏನೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ವಿತ್ ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಸೊ ಡೇಟಾ ಸೆಂಟರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಅವರು ಸಬ್ಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈಚ್ ಆನ್ ಬೋರ್ಡೆಡ್ ISPs shall bring and deploy their own infrastructure in GST and data centers in order to provide connectivity services to ISPs. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ISPs internet service providers they should bring and deploy, they should implement and they should make their job easy in the form of infrastructure to GST network ಗೆ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ರೀತಿಯ ಸಹಾಯವನ್ನು ಅವರು ಡೇಟಾ ಸೆಂಟರ್ಗೆ ಅವರು ಕನೆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅವರು GSP ಗೆ ಕನೆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಹಾಯಕವಾದಂತಹ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಸಬ್ಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, the access to GST system will be controlled through GST-N firewalls. Next, the integration boundary and GST-N site will be the pair of aggregation switches, GSP switches on which the cross connect from ISP's device will be terminated. ನೋಡಿ ಇದೊಂದು ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲಿಂಗ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. ಸೊ GST ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು GST ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, the ISPs must provide ISP routers, CPE routers in HM mode at both DC1, DC2 locations. ನೋಡಿ, ಸೊ ISPs ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಸೊ ಎರಡು ಹೆಡ್ ಕ್ವಾರ್ಟರ್ಸ್, ಒಂದು ಡೆಲ್ಲಿನಲ್ಲಿದೆ DC1 ಅಂತ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು DC2 ಅಂತಿದೆ. ಆ ಒಂದು ಲೊಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಅವರು ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಅವರು ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ISPs shall arrange for the required rack space outside the GST-N cage area. ಈ ಸರ್ವೈಸ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ನಮ್ಗೊಂದು ಸಿಸ್ಟಮೆಟಿಕ್ ಸೊ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ಸಿಸ್ಟಮೆಟಿಕ್ ವೇನಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರು ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ರ್ಯಾಕ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ GST-N ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಕೇಜ್ ಏರಿಯಾಗೆ ಅವರು ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ISP routers has to be hosted in the ISP's cage area or ISP's rack near to the GST-N word network DC1, DC2 cage area in a highly secured manner. ನೋಡಿ, ISP ರೂಟರ್ಸು ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡರ್ಸು ಆ ಒಂದು ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟಿಯನ್ನು ಅವರು DC1 ಅಥವಾ DC2 ಕೇಜ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಅವರು ಸೆಟಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಇನ್ ಎ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರ್ಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾನರ್. So the addresses of the GST network data centers are located one at Bangalore and the other at Delhi. For the GSP's connectivity are given the location, the complete location, SPOC DC1 GST network cage area, Tata Communications Data Centers Private Limited, that is next to Generation Tower opposite to Savitri Cinema GK1. So New Delhi. The other headquarters center is Bangalore, that is in next door Date Limited, plot number 11. So Whitefield, Bangalore. There are two important GST network data centers which are available in two important cities, one at Bangalore and the other at Delhi. So these are the areas where you can have an accessibility. So these are the things I just wanted to cover in this video session. Students, if you have any kind of clarification, so you can definitely feel free to ask me any kind of clarification. So possible best you post